Right, boys and girls, we're now going to install the classic Slacko 570 to a USB drive. I'm going to show formatting of the USB drive prior to install, as well as the install itself. We're using an 8 gig SanDisk Cruiser blade. Right, now bring up Gparted. And the first thing I'm going to do is redo the partition table just to be on the safe side. That's going to create a standard MS-DOS partition table. And that's that done. Right, now let's create a couple of partitions. I'm going to create one main one for Puppy itself and a small swap partition at the end. We're going to use the ext3 file format, since this is the one recommended for Puppy. You can use ext2. It doesn't have the journaling, but it has a tendency to spontaneously corrupt, and it does it rather regularly. Various Puppyians have found this out many times over the years, so ext3 it is. Right, that's made the main partition, left enough for a swap. We'll give it a label, Slacko 570, naturally. That's that added. And now we'll create the swap partition. And we'll give that a label. Stupid, I know, but I like to label all my partitions, even the swap ones. Okay, let's add that. And let's apply and let Gparted do its thing. And there we go. Right, you can talk amongst yourselves now for a little while. I'm having to pull a wee bit of a stunt here for getting the audio to work on this. The audio chip on my big compact desktop for some reason records really slow, so I'm recording this on the old Dell laptop, which records perfectly incidentally, and then later on I shall transfer that over to the compact and I'll use OpenShot to combine the two into a single video. Things we have to do with old computers, eh? Right. Shouldn't be much longer now. And there we go. That's the flash drive formatted and ready to go. One last thing we need to do in order to make it bootable, we need to set the boot flag. There you are. You see the drive has now appeared down the bottom, so we'll now right click and go to manage flags and tick the box for the boot flag. And let it do its thing. And there we are. Boot is now showing in the flags column. So this flash drive is now bootable and ready to install Puppy onto. Now what I'm doing, rather than using a CD, I'm simply installing from the main mount home partition on Slacko itself. It'll pick out the necessary files. I'm going to leave the window open here. I'm thinking it may show what's going on as the install happens. There again, it may not. I've never tried this before. So let's find the Puppy Universal installer. Now it comes up by default with USB flash drive, which in this case is the one we want. Puppy can install to virtually anything. We'll OK that. Choose the drive to install to. As we can see down here, we have SDI, And in the list, SDI is indeed the SanDisk Cruiser Blade. So that's the one we want. Okay. Puppy's now found it out what it needs to know about the drive, and we'll tell it to install Puppy to that drive because that's all set up correctly. Okay, there's a couple more things to come up. We'll be needing to set the bootloader. I usually use the MBR bin one here because that's always been reliable for me, never given me any problems. So we'll OK that, and now we start the install itself. I ask it to right, we'll set it to start. I always ask it to wipe all files just to be on the safe side, even though we've just formatted it. So press Y for yes and enter. And I always also set it to pfix equals copy. It takes a little bit longer to boot up, but it means that everything's there in RAM that you need. And it's now copying all the necessary Puppy files. As I fully expected, there's nothing showing in the window down in the right hand corner. Not to worry, that'll come up later on. This doesn't take long, only takes about 30 to 40 seconds to install Puppy. Right, there we go, that's it. Press enter to continue, and that's basically Puppy is now installed. Okay, we'll just move this over. I'll refresh it, but I don't think it'll come up. No, I didn't think so. Alright, we'll get rid of that. I'll mount the drive itself. And there we are, that's the base Puppy system. Everything's there, including the main SFS file that includes the whole of Puppy, the initial RAM disk, and of course the kernel. Right, I'll get rid of that, and that is Slacko 570 installed to a flash drive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.